Welcome everybody, LotusPedal community. I'm Karen. So excited to be here with you today live on Instagram. It's the first time I've done this, so we're going to, oh hi Kathy. I'm super excited to get going, connecting with the LotusPedal community and hopefully beyond the LotusPedal community. So we are today going to work through a gentle flow with the intent of becoming connected. Connected to our bodies, connected to ourselves, and then connected to the greater community in what we're dealing with the pandemic, going into week 3, I think it is. And I know for me, I had this morning woke up with a little bit of anxiety of like, wow, we're still in the same situation. And what I found was really helpful for me was to do a 5-minute meditation when I got up this morning, which made the hugest difference in grounding myself and being able to move forward with what it is that's happening today and staying present. So we're going to start in a meditation. So come to your mat, take a comfortable seated position. If you have props at home, fabulous. If not, don't worry about it. You can grab a pillow that's close by, or maybe a towel or something like that. But whatever you need, just don't worry about having all the appropriate props, that kind of stuff. So come to a comfortable seat. If you can, have something that you can just stick under your sits bones just to bring your hips a little bit higher than your knees. You can do that. And then just find some movement here. We've got to shake out your arms, wiggle your hips a little bit, just whatever you need to do in order to land on your mat and in your space. And then bring the tops of your hands down onto your thighs. Your palms are down or open in a position of receiving. And then close your eyes. Feel your sits bones grounding down into the earth as you start to feel supported by the ground beneath you. Become present to the fact that you are exactly where you need to be. Notice how your body's feeling. Notice any sensations. And you're simply just taking notice, not assigning any judgment. And start to become aware of your breath. Just staying with your natural inhales and exhales right here. Just notice the quality of the inhale and the depth of each exhale. And then as you notice that ebb and flow of the in and out of your breath, what can you let go of here in order to land completely on your mat? In order for you to become present to what's happening in your body and in the space that you have created. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh. Do that again, breathe in. Breathe out. One more, cleansing breath to create space. Inhale. Exhale. Coming into your intentional Ujjayi breath, you're inhaling through your nose. And exhaling through your nose, this time with your mouth closed. Inhale. Exhale. And let this be a mantra for your practice as we move forward today. The inhale and exhale. as you're guided by your breath through the postures. Gently start to blink your eyes open. Interlace your hands. Press your palms down towards the earth and then lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulders integrate down on your back. Hug the pit of your belly in and up. Inhale, find length. And then as you exhale, lean over to the right side of the room. Maybe you let your gaze walk over towards the top of the left. Inhale yourself back through center and then over to the other direction. Breathe in back to center. Bring your arms down. We're going to move into a twist. The left palm comes to your right thigh. Bring your right fingertips behind your right hip and then open your chest towards the side. Just finding a gentle twist. Maybe let your gaze walk over your right shoulder. Breathe in. Breathe out. And turning through center, simply twist the opposite direction. Right hand to your left thigh, left fingertips on the ground behind you. Feel the crown of your head lifting up towards the ceiling as you turn your chest towards the left. Back to center, coming to a tabletop position. Find yourself in tabletop, stacking your shoulders over your wrists. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Your hips are directly above your knees. And then spreading those fingers, you want to press into the backs of your knuckles. Find a little bit of water in your elbows, and we'll move through a few cat and cows, just getting into the body. On your next inhale, drop your belly, tilt your tail, look up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, round your spine, look towards your belly button. Inhale, drop your belly, look up. Exhale, squeeze the air out as you round your spine, look back. Now moving with your breath, just move through a few more cat and cows. Noticing any sensations that you're feeling, any pockets of tension and resistance, and where can you let go or where can you send your breath to loosen those little tiny pockets. Take one more of each, cat and cow. Come to a neutral spine. Extend your right arm out towards the side wall, so your arm is reaching towards the side. Hug your belly in. And then as you exhale, interlace your right arm underneath your left. Right cheek comes down. Hips are nice and high. Keep your hips stacked over your knees. Right cheek, right ear to the mat. On your breath in, come back to your tabletop. Extending that left arm out, reach, spread your fingers, feel your shoulder plug into its socket, and then you'll interlace your left arm under your right, left cheek comes down, hips stay nice and high. And where can you soften? Notice the muscles of your face. Let go of any tension. Inhale yourself back to center. Spread your knees as wide as your mat And then send your hips back, coming into child's pose. Forehead to the mat, fingertips reach towards the top. And then settle in just for a few breaths in your child's pose. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up. And take a little bit of movement in your down dog, pedaling one knee, pedaling the other. You sway your hips side to side, finding whatever movement you need. Once you feel complete, come into stillness with your gaze right in between your feet. Toes are nice and wide. Feel your heels descend down to the mat. Have the core of your belly in and up as you send your hips up and back. Your shoulders are melting down and together on your spine. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Start to walk your hands towards your feet. So you're coming to the back of your mat. I'm going to turn towards you so you can see your feet are mat distance apart. So walk them out just slightly. Bring your fingertips to the ground. Your fingertips are pointing towards the back of the room or the back of your mat. Take a nice bend in your right knee and then send your left arm up towards the ceiling. Gaze up to your open palm. Your left leg is straight. Your toes are pointing at 12 o'clock. Breathe in and breathe out. One more inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down onto the mat. Straighten both your legs. Fingertips again pointing towards the back. Bend your left knee. Nice deep bend in that left knee. And then open your right fingertips to the ceiling. Gaze up to that open palm. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more inhale. Fold as you exhale. Hands come back down onto the mat. Fingertips facing the front of the mat. Now walk your feet in about hip distance apart. Inhale, come to a flat back. And then exhale, fold down. Grounding into your feet. Slowly come all the way up to stand. Bring your arms wide. Look up. Draw your hands together at heart center as you exhale. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe into a flat back. Exhale, bow. Pressing into your feet, come all the way to stand again. Lift up, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale to your flat back. Bow down. One more time. Get really tall as you press into your feet. Reach up. Fold as you exhale, squeezing all of the air out. Inhale to your flat back. As you exhale, plant your palms on the mat. Step back to a high plank position. Draw your knees down to the earth. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, lift your chest and your shoulders. Baby Cobra. Exhale, roll down. Inhale again, come up, Baby Cobra. Exhale to come down. One more time, lift up. Roll down. Using your inhale, press back, child's pose. Take a breath in. Breath out. Downward facing dog, hips come high. Three breaths here. Notice the quality of your inhales and your exhales. On your inhale, lift your heels. Bend your knees, exhale. Then take a stroll to the top of your mat. Inhale, come to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Grounding into your feet, rise up, mountain pose, look up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift to breathe in. Palms come down onto the mat, stepping back to high plank again. Drop your knees down to the earth, lower all the way down. This time, one baby cobra, look up. Exhale, roll down. Child's pose, press back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Downward facing dog. Make your way back. Finding that connection of the earth, the connection with your breath. Lift your heels, breathe in. Bend your knees, look forward, and walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet, rise up. Bring your arms nice and wide as you look up. Exhale, fold forward. And let your gaze be the last thing to come down. Inhale to a flat back. Plant your palms, step back to that high plank, knees come down to the earth, lower to your belly. Cobra pose, lift your chest, come down. Child's pose, press back. Take one breath in, one breath out. Lift your hips, downward facing dog, press back. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up towards the ceiling, keeping that internal rotation. Your upper pinky toe is pointing down. Then as you exhale, draw your knee into your chest. Hold it here just for a second. And then plant your right foot in between your hands. Anchor that back foot. Come up, warrior one. So your back foot's on a 45-degree. Nice deep lunge in that front knee. Feel your shoulders. I like to sometimes lift the shoulders up so you can actually feel that action of drawing them down and together on the spine. Hug the core of your belly in and up. Inhale, find length. And then as you exhale, draw your hands towards the back of the room, coming into airplane arms. Inhale, come back to warrior one. Exhale, reach back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Breathe in, up. Exhale back. Hold here just for a couple of breaths. Breathe in, reach back. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back. High plank, knees come down, lower all the way to your belly. Baby cobra as you inhale. Exhale, roll down, find child's pose, press the hips back. Take a nice deep breath in. Long breath out. Downward facing dog. Press the hips back. heels come high. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, walk towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Flat back, inhale. Downward facing dog, step back. This time the left leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Feel that internal rotation, so keeping the leg long. Hug your knee into your chest as you exhale. Hover it just for a second, and then you plant that left foot in between your hands. Anchor your right heel down, rising up, warrior one. Feel your feet pressing down into the earth. You have a strong foundation, and then you want to feel that right hip pulling forward as you draw the left hip back. Feel your inner thighs squeezing towards one another. Inhale, find length. Exhale, reach your arms towards the back of the room, airplane arms. Inhale, come up. Exhale, reach back. Breathe in, up. Breathe out, back. One more time, come up. Exhale, reach back, just hovering here, staying here just for a couple of breaths. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands come down onto the mat. Step back, lower your knees, lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Hips come back, fingers reaching towards the top of the mat. From here, walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. You want to bring your left hand off the mat. Then you're going to bring your right palm on top of your left hand, and then soften your head down. Hug the right hip back. Just feel a nice stretch along the right side of your body. Walk your hands back through center and over to the other side. So your right hand comes off the mat, left palm on top of that right hand. So you send that left hip back towards your left heel. Inhale, coming back to center, back to your child's pose. Just staying here for a couple of breaths. Deep breath in, long breath out. On your next inhale, come back to your tabletop. Swing your right leg to the side of your mat. So you want your toes to come off the mat, and then you're going to extend your left leg nice and long. You're on the inside of your left foot. Left fingertips reach up to the ceiling for modified side plank. You can stay right here. If you are feeling a little bit energetic this morning, you can always lift that top leg up. Take a deep breath in. Long breath out. One more inhale. And as you exhale, coming back to your tabletop, position yourself, and then simply move to the other side, drawing that left foot off of the mat. You want your toes to be tucked, extending your right leg out. You're on the inside of that right foot. Right fingertips reach towards the ceiling, and let your eyes walk up to those open fingertips. Staying right here or lifting your leg if you're feeling a little bit more energetic. breath in. And then release. Coming back to your tabletop on your mat. Tuck your toes under. Downward facing dog. Send your hips back. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Inhale your right leg up. And then draw your right foot in between your hands, bringing that back knee down. If you do have a bit of knee sensitivity, you can always fold up your mat just to create a little bit of a cushion under your left knee. Now walk that front foot forward just an extra inch or so in order to drop your hips down. Feel a nice stretch through the hip flexors. Draw the core of your belly in and up, and then lift your arms up. Coming into your modified crescent lunge. Breathe in. Breathe out. Cactus your arms. Make big stop signs with your fingers. So you're spreading your fingers nice and wide. Inhale, find length. And then as you exhale, twist towards the right. Just taking a gentle twist, imagining the shape of a corkscrew. Your hips are staying square towards the front of the room. And then your twist is coming up through your thoracic spine. Gaze over your right shoulder, staying here. Notice your breath. If you come away from that commitment of your ujjayi, just simply recommit, coming back to an intentional breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Turn yourself back to center. Hands come to frame that front foot. Sink your hips back. Peel your right toes towards your face. And then let your heart melt over your extended leg. And notice your back leg. You want to keep that hip stacked over your knee. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, bend that front knee. Front foot comes flat. Let's find a little bit of a flow here. So as you inhale, you're going to find a little bit of cow pose. As you open your chest, look forward. And then as you exhale, round your spine, straighten that front leg, and look back. Inhale, come forward, open the chest, look up. Exhale, sink your hips back, round your spine. Using your breath just a few more times, moving forward and back, and just imagining, that sensation of cat and cow through your spine. One more time, bring yourself forward. Press your hips back. Inhale, come forward, bend that front knee. Tuck that back, your back toes, and then lift your back knee up. Inhale, come up to crescent lunge. And then open up to warrior two. Unfolding my mat here. So nice lunge in your front knee. Arms are extending long towards the front and back of the room. Opening up your pelvis towards the side wall. You want to find a nice deep lunge, working towards that 90 degrees in the front leg. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, reach forward, extended side angle. Forearm comes to your inner thigh, fingertips up. And if you're feeling a little bit more energetic, you can bring your right fingertips down to a block, a folded towel, pillow, whatever. And let your gaze walk up to your open palm. Breathe in. Breathe out. Look down to your big toe, your right big toe. Hands come down onto the mat. Step back to your high plank, dropping the knees down, lower to your belly. Inhale, baby cobra, look forward. Child's pose, send your hips back. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Downward facing dog on your breath. Moving to the other side. Draw your left foot in between your hands. Right knee comes down onto the mat. Again, you can set yourself up by creating padding with your mat. But notice your foundation. So you want to walk that front foot forward just a tiny bit in order to really feel the hips descend down towards the earth. And then as you inhale, draw your hands up. Staying right here. Hug the belly in. You're protecting your low back by creating a solid core. Breathe in. Breathe out. Cactus your arms. And as you do that, you can feel your shoulders integrate on your spine. Find length as you breathe in, and then as you exhale, you're twisting to the left. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Inhale back to center. Hands come to either side of that front foot. Sink your hips back, peeling your toes to your face. Your heart melts over your extended leg. You should feel a really nice stretch through the back of that hamstring, softening the chest towards the earth. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bend your front knee. Bring your chest forward. We'll move through our flow on this side. So you're inhaling, opening the chest, look up. Exhale, round your spine, peel your toes away. Inhale, bend your front knee, reach forward. Send the hips back as you exhale. Now moving with your breath, forward and back. Inhale, come forward. Tuck those back toes under. Lift your back knee. Come up to crescent lunge, engaging the core. And then opening up to your warrior two. Settle in here. Feel your hips descending down towards the mat. Breathe in, reach forward, extended side angle. Finding your extended side angle. Right fingertips towards the ceiling. Find length along the side body. So you want to drop those left ribs down towards the earth. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Look down at your front big toe. Plant your palms down on the mat. Stepping back to your modified high plank with the knees down. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, baby cobra. Child's pose. Press your hips back. Fill up. Breathe in, and then sigh through your mouth. On your next inhale, downward facing dog. Come back up. Walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale, come to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. I'm just going to turn towards you. Taking a nice easy seat, sink your hips down, coming into chair pose, arms come up. And then again, we'll cactus the arms. Inhale, find length. And then as you exhale, we're twisting again. Twist to the right. Through these twists, finding a rinse, imagining your internal organs, exactly that, just a rinse out. Inhale, come back to center, and then twist to the left. Keeping your hips square, your knees square to the front of the room. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold forward. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Take a little bend in your knees as you use your peace fingers to scoop up your big toes. Look forward as you breathe in. Fold as you breathe out. Elbows come to the sides of the room. Drop your head. Pull up on your toes as you feel your toes pressing into your fingers. Breathe in, halfway lift, release your toes, and then slide your palms under your feet. Taking a nice bend in the knees. So coming into gorilla, your palms are facing up, tops of your hands are on the mat. You want to walk your toes to your wrist creases or as close as you can get them. So bend your knees as much as you need to do that. Look forward on your inhale, and then soften on your exhale. Drop your head. Feel your chest resting on your thighs. Maybe you take a shake to the head, yes and no. What might you still be holding on to, perhaps you brought into the beginning of our practice here, that you can let go of right now? Deep breath in. Long breath out. Release your hands. Now take a little sway from side to side. You're going to walk your feet mat distance apart, and then pigeon toe your feet. So your feet are kind of on a 45-degree angle. Yeah, and give a little sway side to side. Here, if you do have a pillow or a block, whatever you might be using for your props if you have them, I suggest grabbing that. We're moving into Milazzo Squat. So just taking that movement to loosen up the hips, and then draw your hips down towards the mat. You're bringing your elbows on the insides of your thighs, hands together at heart center. You can stay right here, or if you do have your pillow or your towel, whatever, you want to create a little perch to drop your sits bones down, you can do that. Finding what you need, and then you come into stillness. Close your eyes and just settle into your Malasana. Notice what your body is feeling, and you're just sending your breath to wherever you're feeling sensation. Perhaps you're feeling mild sensation, perhaps you're really feeling this through your hips, but you're just using your breath, knowing that this too shall pass. Breaths. Really notice the length of your inhales and the length of your exhales. You want them to match, creating that equanimity in and out. Breathe out. Really fill up your lungs. And open your mouth. Gently start to blink your eyes open. Draw your hands down to the earth, and then slowly taking movement as you need it, you draw your hips up towards the ceiling. Yeah, give a little side to side sway back and forth. And then walk your feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. From here, step your left foot back. Bend your front knee, coming back to warrior one. So hug your belly in, hugging your inner thighs together. Lift up. Exhale, open up, warrior two. As you inhale, straighten that front knee. Hinge forward, coming into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So your right fingertips are coming to the outside or the inside of that front leg. Again, if you have a block or your modified props, you can use those. Notice your side body. So you want to drop those right ribs down to create parallel lines along your body, opposed to arching and reaching. Find that and then open up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Using your next inhale, pull yourself all the way up to stand. Point your toes so they're parallel. Hands come onto your hips. Inhale, find length and look up. Exhale, bow down. Hands come down onto the mat. Gaze comes in between your legs. Wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Walk your hands over to your right foot as you point your right toes towards the front of the room. Step that back foot in about halfway. So you're creating a shorter stance, squaring the hips, lengthen and look forward, and then exhale, fold into pyramid pose. Soften your chest. Inhale, look forward, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, draw that back foot, left foot up to the front of your mat to meet your right foot. Flat back as you inhale. Fold as you exhale. This time the right foot steps back, coming into warrior one. So find your feet, find your foundation as you rise up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. Straighten that front knee. Hinge forward, bumping your left hip back. Trikonasana, triangle pose on this side. So notice the side body again. You're finding the chest opening towards the side while gaze up to your open palm. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Using the breath, pull yourself up to stand. Turn your toes so they're parallel. This time you're going to interlace your hands at your low back. Feel your shoulders drawing together. Lengthen and look up. Exhale, fold. Let your palms come away from your low back. Head drops down. inhale, lift your chest, coming to a flat back. Release the bind of your hands. Hands come down onto the mat, and then you're walking your hands over to your left foot as you spin your left toes towards the front of the mat. Draw that back foot in halfway. Lengthen, look forward. Exhale, bow down. Soften your head, relax through your neck. Breathe in. And breathe out. Inhale, lengthen, look forward. As you exhale, plant your palms on the mat. Step back to your high plank position, dropping the knees down onto the earth. Come all the way down onto your belly. And then bring your right cheek down to the mat. Extend your arms along your side body and close your eyes. Soften here. Lift your head and then simply switch gears. You're looking the opposite direction. Bringing your forehead back to center. Bring your forearms in front of you. So you're lifting your chest a little bit. Feel your legs zip up. So you want to find support through your legs. Tops of your feet are pressing down onto the earth. And then grab opposite elbows. Just finding that alignment of your shoulders. So that should be shoulder distance apart. And then you're going to bring your palms forward, fingertips facing 12 o'clock, moving into Sphinx pose. So notice your core. You want to hug the belly in and then open the chest forward. Tops of the feet continue to press into the earth. You're feeling supported by the ground beneath you. And then the shoulders are pressing back towards your spine. Breath in. Breathe out. One more inhale, open the chest. And then as you exhale, draw your head back down onto the earth. Bring your palms underneath your shoulders. And inhale, come up to baby cobra again, lifting up. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll down. One more time, lift up. Roll yourself down, and then using your inhale, you will press back, child's pose. Release your lower back. Taking a few cleansing breaths here. And lifting yourself up, cross your ankles, coming to your seat, and then we're just going to move onto your back, rolling all the way down onto your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest and give a little sway side to side. Releasing your legs. Extend your right leg up. You're going to bring your left leg on a 90 degree and then cross your right ankle over your left thigh, coming in to thread the needle. Flex your feet. You want to keep your feet flexed to protect the knees. Interlace your hands behind your left thigh and then hug the legs in towards the chest. You're using your right elbow to create resistance against your right thigh and hug in. You should feel a nice opening through the right hip. You can close your eyes. deep breath in. Let it go. And releasing the bind of your legs. Keep your legs in the figure 4 and then extend your arms in a T. You're going to cross that right leg over the left. So you're crossing at the knees and then drop your knees to the right. Gaze over your left shoulder. Back to center, uncross your legs, and then we're moving to the other side. Right leg comes to a 90 degree. You're going to cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Feet are flexed. Feel your your left knee pull away from your chest. Interlace your hands behind that right leg, and then hug in, creating resistance with your left arm. The more you press against that left thigh with your elbow, the deeper of a stretch you'll feel. Slowly releasing the hold of your right leg. Extend your arms out in a T. Cross your legs at the knees and then drop your legs to the right, gazing over that left shoulder. Pardon me, I went the wrong way. We're going to the left. Hopefully you caught that. Deep breath in, long breath out, drawing your knees back to center, release your bind, coming into happy baby, grab the outsides of your feet, drawing your knees in towards your chest. Maybe you give a little sway side to side. And then releasing the feet, bring your feet down onto the mat, Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet come together, knees spread wide. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly as you close your eyes. And then just soften. Notice the muscles of your face. Feel your shoulders connecting with the earth beneath you. Scan your body, starting at the top of your head. Just notice after you've invited some movement into your day, how are you feeling? What has opened up for you? And take this opportunity to show gratitude for yourself. Acknowledge something for yourself today. Acknowledging yourself. Perhaps just simply for taking the time to do a practice this morning. I invite you to bring that into your day. Where can you acknowledge yourself? Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth and exhale. I invite you to stay in Supta Baddha Konasana if this is feeling good for you. Otherwise, you can draw your knees together, hugging your knees in towards your chest. Take a little sway side to side. Draw your forehead up to your knees as you squeeze into a tight bow. And then release into Shavasana. Legs are long, spread wide. Bring your arms along your side body. If you want to grab a blanket or a pillow, do what you need to. And then soften into your final pose, what I like to consider the peak pose of your practice, what you've been working this entire 60 minutes towards. Fully embrace the relaxation as you soften down into your mat. And I will leave you in your Savasana, thanking you and appreciating each and every one of you for joining me here this morning. I leave you in peace. Namaste.